Are you ready to start this magical mystery tour? Today, we are going to be game planning. We're going to come up with a storyline and a goal for our game. Now, before I get started, I want to share with you that I share a lot about gamification and game planning in my book, Make Learning Magical. I also want to give a shout out to my friend Michael Matera, who wrote the book Explore Like a Pirate, which is also a great book on gamification. But I want to break down for you how to create this game plan. First of all, you need to have a goal. So, in this game for Destination X, student teams are on an adventure around the globe in search of Destination X in each unit of study. So, first of all, in the show Destination X, there are 10 contestants, and these contestants are on a bus. The windows are basically covered, they can't see where they are. And throughout this episode, they are competing in challenges and unlocking these clues to try to determine where they are in the world so they can lock in their answer, that exact city or town that they're in at the end of the episode. So in my class, students are going to be working in teams. You can do this independently if you want. I love the team kind of environment. So we'll be using teams in my classroom game. So after you have determined that goal, then you can really start thinking about the storyline. In my class, we are going to be traveling, hypothetically, to different locations around the globe. So my classroom will just kind of get transformed into whatever area we are visiting at that time. Honestly, the look of the classroom is going to remain the same, but that is the overall setting. We are traveling to different locations across the globe. Now, there are a variety of characters in this game plan. My students are the main characters. They are trekking across the globe searching for these clues and in some cases winning these clues to be able to determine exactly where they are, to be able to pinpoint that. The teacher is the game show host, so you're the game designer. You can change the rules as you go if you would like to. Um, it's your game. So have fun with it. Have fun planning it. The staff of your school, maybe the community, could be coming in as judges if you want to have a challenge. That's up to you. And you could also bring in some global connections to make this game even richer. You could bring them in maybe on Zoom. Maybe they're sharing clues or information. An authentic audience is powerful, and I always find ways to bring in an authentic audience into my classroom. That's something that you might want to think about. What would that look like for you and the students that, with the students that you serve and the connections that you know? Now, the fun part comes in the action. The action is going to begin at the start of the game. Community building is everything. Really helping students feel connected together, help them feel bonded, help them feel safe, and develop that trust is so, so important. I know sometimes in reality television shows, it's a little bit cutthroat where like they're out to get each other and they're just out to win. Not in my class. I want students to feel safe. I want them to bond and connect and have that sense of community. So I'm going to be intentional from the start to make sure that I build that. And I'm also going to have those teams formed in those beginning days as well. Then, to kick off the first unit of study, we are going to have either a scavenger hunt or an escape room experience. Now, I personally love escape rooms. I have access to breakout EDU boxes. You could create your own breakout box. Just going to the hardware stores and getting the locks and the toolbox would work, or you can use breakout EDU boxes if you have access to them. And in that escape room experience, they might be trying to solve these clues that unlock the locks that reveal in the box the continent or maybe country, if you want to zoom in a little bit more, that they are going to be in. Now, if you don't want to do the escape room route, you could do a scavenger hunt. And again, it's leading them to that continent or country that they are going to be kind of figuring out that exact location that they're at within it. Then throughout the unit, you are going to be dropping clues. And I'm going to be sharing what that can look like in a little bit when we go into game mechanics. But there's going to be multiple opportunities for you to do that, maybe even daily throughout the unit. And if you want, this is totally optional, you may choose to do a challenge in the unit. So it could be a team building challenge, it could be a challenge related to your topic area. And maybe the winners are going to earn bonus clues or get some type of an incentive through that challenge. So that's kind of the overall storyline and what the setting, the characters, and the action looks like. So now let's think about what it will look like to break down these game mechanics. So for that escape room, I already kind of talked about that. That's how we're kicking off the unit to figure out exactly where we're going. Now, I want to mention that your class content doesn't have to have anything to do with various locations in the world. So let's talk about this for a moment, because I think it's really important for you to be able to really connect to this in your classroom. For me, I do teach international cuisine. So it is a great fit for me because wherever we're going, we're going to be maybe studying the culture and the food and the cooking techniques, etc., within that part of the world. However, let's say you teach child development. Maybe you typically don't bring in kind of an international perspective into your class. You can still teach the units exactly the way that you've always taught them, but maybe as an extra layer, you are bringing in cultural parenting influences and customs from that particular area in the world that students are traveling to in that unit. So you still go on teaching the same topic area, but now there's this over kind of layered content and richness that you're bringing to it because maybe they are learning how different cultures parent, right? If you teach fashion design, interior design, you're learning about fashions from different parts of the world. You're learning about different design styles in different parts of the world. Maybe even financial literacy, right? You can bring in that international perspective. If you don't teach family and consumer science and you teach maybe career and technical, like a more a different topic area within career and technical ed, like autos, right? We can learn about auto manufacturers from across the world. We can learn about different architectural styles. Teach history, English, right? There's always ways that we can bring in that kind of international perspective into what we teach. Again, you still teach the same standards content, but you are overlaying this extra piece where they're going to maybe learn a little bit more through the clues that you are dropping for them about the different places in the world that they're visiting in that particular unit. So they hone in on that particular continent or country in that beginning escape room or scavenger hunt. Then throughout the unit, you are dropping clues. Now, those clues can come in various forms. Maybe when they come into the room every day, you have their objectives up on the screen. Maybe you drop a little picture that day of something, and they have to pick up on the fact that maybe that is a clue. Maybe you have some QR codes up around the room that when they scan it, it's going to lead them to something that's going to give them that clue. Maybe you drop digital clues in Google Docs, or maybe their learning management system. Maybe it's a link, a hidden link that if they click on it, it's going to open up a clue. Maybe it's an actual tangible clue that you have hidden. Maybe it's clues that they earn, you know, for having the cleanest kitchen that day. That can be so many different ways. So think about what your classroom structure looks like and where could those clues be dropped. I personally am going to drop one clue a day. That does not have to be how you do it. You decide how you want to drop the clues, but you want them to be looking for them, right? So I think that if you can do it every day, I think it's going to just add to the excitement of the game theme. Then, again, this is optional. You could have an additional challenge in that unit. In addition to that escape room or scavenger hunt at the beginning, could be a team building challenge. It could be a challenge connected to your content area. Could be like a quiz is or a Kahoot or a digital game like that. And maybe the winners are going to get an additional bonus clue that day. Or you can give additional incentives as well if you choose to. So that is the overall game structure. Now, I am just beginning to develop this game. So this is what is going to kind of propel me forward and help me to really refine all the other pieces. Will this maybe change between now and the week I start school? Most likely, yes. Um, that's how it always is, right? We come up with a plan and we refine as we go. Remember, you are the game designer. So you can start doing this in your classroom. And depending on how your students are engaging, you might add some twists and turns so that you are going to maybe add some other pieces in that are going to make this even more exciting for your students. I always encourage to start small. You can always get bigger. So if this is overwhelming to you, don't do the additional challenges. Like I said, were optional. Don't do that. Maybe you bring that in maybe halfway through the semester if you would choose to or you'd like to, but you don't have to. Maybe you're not ready to bring in an authentic audience. Don't. That's totally fine. Again, do what's comfortable for you and change this up any way that you would like to. This is your game. So I want you to have fun with it. And I want you to be able to create an experience that's not only fun for students, but really fun for you too. So join me next time for another episode of how to gamify your classroom with a Destination X theme.